Hello. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Starting a new week. I think I even saw chess.com send me a notification. I don't know if I can play this. This wasn't my intention at all. But I see chess.com sending notifications about some qualifier, aka the 10-minute tournament that I played recently with all the super strong players. That's not why we turned on the stream. We're not doing that. But I can't. I see the notifications for it. It's giving me PTSD. That's not what this is gonna be. Hell no. Hell no. A jumpy chess. Couple years from Carlson the Great. Carlson the Great, thanks for 24 months, buddy. Notification for what? I just played a 10-minute tournament. It's like a Champions Chess Tour qualifier. It was awful. Happy to not be playing it. M Spacefarer, what's up, buddy? Hey, Bunglet. Is that a real thing? The Hickey 3-check Swiss? You just never know these days. People could be memeing or dead serious. Austie 801. 9 months. Austie 801. And Lar G wrecked Shin. Say that one slowly, and I think we know exactly what that name is all about. God bless Chess TV. Thank you for the Prime for 5 months, Mr. Lar. Good to see Benjamin. Yeah, I was gonna do some of the Stonewall series. Not gonna be live for too long this morning. An EU friendly stream. Yes, I'm up early. It's not gonna be the longest stream because I have something in a couple hours. But I figured, okay, those Europeans, they're always complaining. Let's go live early. They have nothing to complain about. Do a little bit of our Stonewall series. Say hello to the people. Like Jumpy, Carlson, Jerome Morrow, Tommy J. Salami. Hey, Chelsea, Nova Notice. Platinum Blonde. Thank you for the quick Cinco. Morning Cinco. Rare, not due to anything on Latinum's part. It's more that there aren't many morning streams for the Cinco to appear in on my end. Thank you, Latinum Blonde. Hello to Czech Manarov. Exactly. Czech Manarov's birthday weekend has finally come to a close. Birthday week, weekend. He's now been regulated, or relegated rather. Let's go with relegated. He's been relegated to a normal chatter. How does it feel, Czech? You're just an average Twitch chatter now. You're no better than Benjamin. Hey, Zach. The music. Music has been good here for a long time. How long? 52 months. That's how long. Welcome back, buddy. Good morning. Hello to Salty. Salty can't miss a Stonewall stream. I can definitely see Salty launching a few attacks. So, we are at 800. Actually, we're 800 elo on the dot. 8-0-0. And we'll see what we can put together this morning. Whether it's going to be 850, 900, past that. I've been going with 5-minute games. The nice thing about this series, maybe it is, maybe it isn't nice. I think it's nice. Games aren't that long, right? Not every game is going 10 minutes because I'm checkmating people or winning the game sometimes in less than 20 moves. Hello, Theo. Almost 3 years, 35 months from Theo Gantos 2. Appreciate those 5 subs as well, Latinum. We had some big resubs. Let's get started with the Stonewall. Without further ado, 800 5-minute games. Let's see if we can put this setup to use. All right, E4 players. Start with, start with E6. Definitely made it easier in this case. Oh, look at my Stonewall setup. It's already, it's almost done. So bishop D6, tempting, but after castle, knight F6. Rook E1. It's a little bit annoying. So I'm definitely going to start with the move knight F6. I'm not sure what he's going to do. I don't want to play bishop D6 and knight E7. My knight on E7 is just so bad, right? I can't get to my desired E4 square. Now, he's come with the move knight H4. He's pressuring my F5 pawn. To me, G6 is a very simple answer to this. If that pawn was on D4, I might maybe think twice about it, just because there's bishop G5 to consider. I would still ultimately play it, but the fact that there's no bishop coming out means knight H4 is not that scary at all. Right? This is pretty much the ideal pawn structure for knight E4 to happen. I mean, this is just great. Wouldn't be surprised if knight E4 here, which does uncover attack on the knight, is actually just a great move. But you'll notice that his move queen F3 actually doesn't really do anything. Like, doesn't threaten anything. So even the moves that he is playing are not actually that threatening. So bishop D6, for example, I like because it actually just develops a piece and threatens the castle. Knight E4 is tempting, but I think a little bit more in the spirit of the Stonewall is get developed. I mean, we're not scared of any sacrifices here. I assumed he was going to do it, but I'm not really scared of them. I can castle, and nothing's really going to stop my knight from going to E4. Bishop takes, queen takes. I'm definitely going to throw a check in here. He has nothing to block it with. After the king moves, I have to deal with rook E1, but my plan is to castle, so I'm kind of dealing with it just like that. So it's almost like if I played knight E4 earlier, he wouldn't have sacked, and I wouldn't be up a piece right now. I had to let whatever's happening right now happen, because this is how we get the extra piece. So knight E4 right now uncovers an attack on the queen, which is why it looks particularly attractive. Knight E4, queen G4, and then, for example, you know, I move my king out of the way, and I would be threatening knight takes F2. So definitely like knight E4 here, because the sacrifice doesn't do anything, and okay, moving the queen is fine, but white's got 0 pieces developed, so I think we can be slightly aggressive. I mean, this was really about as good of a Stonewall as you could get, right? I had the pawns like this, with the knight going to E4. Like, there has never been a more supported knight than there would have been in that position. Okay, he's gone d3. I think we know this. This does blunder something there. Taking looks good, but to open things even more and actually make some serious threats, I'm going to do this. Okay, how do we make threats towards this king? That bishop is loose, so the moves I'm mainly considering are this and this. This one sort of threatens b2 and queen d4. This one threatens some checks in this pawn. I guess I like this one a little bit better. It's a close call. And start picking up pawns here. Knight d7. This one does look like it's just going to be a slower kind of victory. Here, rook b1 here. I mean, at that point, we're just pawn grabbing, which is not really the worst thing. Let's go here. If king c1, maybe there's bishop a3. He goes here, knight e5. I'm just going to bring the rest of my pieces into the attack. I think we could get it done probably with just the rook and the queen, but this is a little bit more convincing. King c2, knight c4. Bishop d4 has a very quick answer. And otherwise, knight takes bishop, followed by bishop f4. It's just going to trade more and more pieces off the board. And I think this move will be the beginning of the end for my opponent, because now almost every single piece is going to fly off the board here. GG. GG. That game was 21 moves. Like I said, the Stonewall does usually get some pretty quick wins. So this was just really helpful. I think you guys can appreciate this was like 3 really bad moves from my opponent in a row. Bishop c4, bad. Bishop b5, bad. And bishop d3, also bad because it blocks that d pawn. So none of white's opening moves were very good. Knight h4, also not good. Queen f3, also not good. And knight f5, also not good. So if he didn't sacrifice and maybe castled, we would have castled and put our knight here. And this was sort of like, you know, this is how I could imagine the game going if he didn't sacrifice, which is a Stonewall's dream, right? Knight e4, that bishop can't develop, any capture, we take with the f pawn. We got bishops pointing, knights hanging on h4. Everything works out really well here. So yes, he sacrificed, and yes, the game just ended because of a few tactics and hanging queens and whatnot, but I think it was really over just out of the opening. It was just a really bad sequence of moves from white to start off the game. Hello, JKA buddy. What's up, what's up, what's up? Well, JKA, when white plays d4, I have no issues setting up the Stonewall, right? It's more when e4 happens, I play e6, and, you know, I kind of play f5, d5, but it's not always a guarantee. Not always a guarantee. Fen Beingold, thanks for the 30 months. Welcome back. And a tier 3 for precisely 4 years. Ya928. Thank you, Jason. 48-month sub, tier 3, a Tulum enjoyer. Ya928 is racking up the credits. Thanks a lot for the resub, Ya928. Let's go for the next game. We might get the white pieces where it's a little easier to set this stuff up. And remember, God bless Chess TV. Even early in the morning, God bless Chess TV. All right. D4 Go e3. And when I see knight here to maybe threaten e5, to me it's time to play this. Okay, I have my setup. I do like to play c3 pretty much right after I play this, if possible, because knight b4 can be annoying. And now, I've mentioned this before, but knight d2, not knight f3, but knight d2 to stop knight e4. And again, if you just sort of flip the board to my opponent's perspective, you can see that's not a move. That's not a move. Right? They start to run out of ideas. Like maybe he'll do this and this, but white's play is easy. Black has no pawn breaks. Like that pawn is blocked by the knight. This pawn can't move. This bishop only has that square. So I feel like black is about to get killed by knight e5. Just a Stonewall's dream. Black feels very planless. And most importantly, when they see this knight coming in, they're not allowed to match that energy by putting a knight on our e4 square because we've set our pieces up to prevent that. Let's play queen e2. We'll guard that pawn. He did actually make a threat there. h3 will boot this knight out, and knight e5 will essentially, like, essentially force the issue with this knight here. So I like h3. I like knight e5. I'm a little bit conflicted. I think it's also worth pointing out bishop h7, king h7, knight g5, king g8, queen takes g4. The reason I'm not like, you know, screaming about this move is because of f6. The knight goes back to f3 and then e5. And my queen's under attack there from the bishop. He's about to take pawns in the center. The rook is there, and I'm in this position at the end of that line where I'm faced with pawns like that. I have two knights, a bad bishop, no light squared bishop, and my queen's under attack with black having the initiative. Now, I'm not saying my 800 opponent is going to find all that, but I can definitely tell you that it's not too exciting to allow that. Like, that doesn't feel like I'm cashing in here. If I just play knight e5 and castle, I feel like I'll have a better shot at a good position rather than playing bishop takes h7 and knight g5. And if I start with knight g5, he does have knight back to f6, so that's why I didn't want to do that. And yeah, as expected, knight e5 has yielded a very good result, which is an extra piece in a second. He decides to take. So we're up a piece now, and again, queen h5 is nice to hit two things, but he does have f5, annoying move, which blocks both. So I'm actually going to start this tactic by taking check first, and then going queen h5, which is the only way it'll work. But we're up a piece now. That's all because of that knight on e5. Typical Stonewall. And yeah, he's going for f6 e5, and guess what? He even has decent compensation in this position. And it's not actually enough compensation, but it's decent. Imagine if he wasn't even down a piece. This is what the bishop takes h7 line was going to be like. Knight f3 threatens all sorts of moves there. I do like e4 though, just because it opens up the bishop. Takes, there's I mean, knight takes e5, also knight g5. I think I'm going to play knight f3 rather than getting greedy and going for queen takes pawn. I'm just going to try to involve my pieces. I have an extra piece, so if I don't start using it, it's not going to feel very good. King there. Although queen g7 exists, knight takes e5 looks far more destructive. Bishop g5 plus queen e5 as well. And I think if I go here, okay, the king moves. But if we start by taking this, I'm wondering if we have a mate, because king there, queen takes there leads to mate. Next move. And if the bishop blocks, we still have that move available. So queen takes e5 looks like the right way to go. And I think this works out a little bit better than if I had gone bishop g5 initially. Get an extra pawn, lots of good things. Very nice. Another 25 move win. I'm telling you, they're quick. GG. I do think it's kind of relevant here, this bishop takes h7 line. It's just not for me. It's not the worst, but just want to like point out, because I think it's kind of instructive. I haven't seen the other variation, but if I flick the evaluation on just for a sec, I'm sure. Oh, we'll wait and see. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think it won't be as good. I think it won't be as good as the line that I played. It just allows a lot of counterplay, even though it wins a pawn. Hey, we got a brilliant move in here. Go us. All right, so we got our setup here. Right, so we played knight e5. So I'm curious. Analysis. Let's get the eval on for just a sec. Yeah, so funny enough, after rook e8, bishop takes h7 is not even in the top, like, it's not even suggested here. So if we do take, I'm wondering what they're gonna call it. Maybe an inaccuracy. So brilliant. 1.72. Let's just wait and see. Knight g5. Yeah, okay. This is kind of funny. So you see how the eval is actually going down. 0.78. And by the time I take the knight and black plays f6, 0.27. I don't know. Basically, it's telling me to play h4 and sack the piece. I'm not sure I even believe it anymore. So after f6, and you can see what I mean. If you go back and black plays e5, hopefully you get my point. It's like nearly -3, -2, -3. White's essentially lost from winning that pawn. Now you can play h4, but I'm seeing lines that don't convince me. 0.63, and that's if I sack a piece, right? I mean, I just don't buy that. That looks like trash. So you're telling me that you want to take my position earlier, which was +1 at least, and play bishop takes h7, right? And you're going to give me a brilliancy while giving me a worse engine eval and forcing me to sack another piece down the line? It's like, huh? Actually, bishop takes h7 is a brilliancy. It's brilliant to have a worse evaluation. So I just think in the Stonewall, you have to be a little careful what little morsels you go and try to win with this light squared bishop, because if you end up in a position without that bishop on the board, even at the cost of a pawn, or even gaining a pawn along the way, sometimes it's not worth it. Like, your light squares are just really weak, and if you don't have this light square bishop, especially if they still do, it can be an annoying position. So that was particularly funny because it says brilliant, and then it gives an eval of 0.3. Actually, 1.25. 95. Actually, bishop takes h7 is brilliant. It's a worse move, but it's brilliant. Some strange stuff. So yeah, bishop takes h7, not that trustworthy. I certainly think it's basically a mistake. We went 95, and we won. And now, are we gonna get a brilliancy for this? No. And now bishop takes h7 when it's actually okay, and it actually wins a pawn and simplifies material. You're not gonna give me a brilliancy. I mean, this is ridiculous. Actually, when you win a pawn and you're up material, it's a mistake. But when you ruin your advantage and give away your light square bishop and have to sack a piece after in order to stay in the game, it's a brilliancy. I'm getting trolled. And of course, the game goes on, and I get a brilliancy, which is a real brilliancy. Woo. Knight takes e5. And the thing is, the engine just likes to sack. Like, it's like, ooh, knight e5. Way to go, gamer. But look at the eval. Queen takes g7 is a better move. You could call knight e5 an inaccuracy. Yeah, 12.0. So I've learned the criteria for a brilliancy. You have to sack a piece. It has to still be a positive evaluation for you. So it can't be like, oh, the opponent has the advantage. It doesn't have to be the best move. And in fact, the final criteria, it can't be the best move. So you have to find a move that is not the best, sacks material, and doesn't ruin the evaluation. Like, it stays positive for you. So if you're with the black pieces, the eval has to still be negative something at the end. Positive something at the end if you're white. Okay. It's very, very stringent kind of rules here. So the game ends, yes. But of course, I'm gonna make the argument, and I think the engine supports it, that knight e5 is just better than bishop h7. Because black's best move might even be sacking the piece the way that he did. Like, if you're just going back, knight f6, you're going to get killed in this position. Castle, maybe g4, g5, rook lift. This is, I mean, we've talked about these Stonewall positions a lot. This would be over. But bishop takes h7, I think we want to stay away from. So here it is, live and direct. Your teacher telling you not to play moves that the engine deems brilliant. Because I actually would call this a mistake. Very strange, but I think this is a mistake. Engine's calling it brilliant. I don't buy it. Reeve99. Thanks for the prime sub, Reeve. HD motivated, 7-month resub. Let's get back into the games. I can't stare at these fake brilliancies any longer. All right, next game. Next game, next game. All right. E4, E6 goes here. I wonder if we should play D6 or D5. I'm gonna end up playing these two moves anyway. But like, I'm wondering if I go here, if he's gonna take it. Because then maybe we could still set that up. Whereas D5, he might not know en passant. Really, I think D5 is the most effective. And it should be. I mean, he's gonna play D4, but taking, I thought it was forced. So it's like, playing D5 should absolutely force him to take me. But I never get that treatment. I really don't. It's annoying. Oh, he takes this way, does he? Oh, wow. Now all of a sudden he's an en passant enjoyer. We're going to play all our similar moves. We're going to castle kingside. Rook already has an open file, which is not too shabby. And in this particular kind of Stonewall, we definitely like either a quick e5, which you're gonna need to support your center like this, or a quick knight e4. One of those two things. If I go queen here right now, I don't love knight b5 hitting my bishop like that, so I am just gonna finish that setup off, play c6, and now queen here, knight here. Those are my next two moves, almost for sure. To try to get e5 played or knight e4. Get unpinned there. We'll wait and see what he does. Queen d3, so okay. Good night. e5 to me, definitely playable right now and kind of tempting. Queen e8 is very decent, but I don't think I'm getting this by force. Like, he can definitely maybe play against it. So I'm going to take the opportunity right now and get e5 in. That's my weakest pawn on e6. I'm getting rid of it. And I have this great pawn structure. Well, we see the threat. d4, as tempting as it might look, does not deal with the threat against my piece, so we're not going to be too happy about that. I actually like the look of queen c7 because I can see this tactic coming into play, like queen here, bishop here, for example. Even queen here, f4, followed by kicking that bishop and taking. Plus, we renew the threat of maybe d4. So I'm going to go queen c7. It's kind of funny that bishop takes knight runs into bishop f4, which is an immediate blunder. So he goes f4, which I think makes a ton of sense. Bishop takes knight, knight e4. Decent moves, but I'm going to keep my dark square bishop for now. And I'm just thinking that with that pawn loose on f4, it's extremely likely that we get something like this in the next two moves. Playing the odds here. h6, and I mean, boy, if we don't see the bishop move, I'll be very surprised. And we do, and we are rewarded. There we go. Bishop f4 move was going to be far too difficult for him to avoid. Like, it would just you'd have to have like a heightened sense of awareness as an 800. And hey, I respect the move bishop e5. I do. Unfortunately, it's not really going to help because I can just take it. But I'll take the queen because it's check, and then take the bishop after. And due to that tactic, again, another sub 20 move game. Now look, I'm not trying to rub it in here. I'm playing lower rated players, far lower rated players than myself, but I've done a lot of series. You know, we've done London series. We've done a lot of different series that are on the YouTube. Hippo, London, Kings Indian, blah, 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 blah. How many times have we won a game in under 25 moves for people lower rated than 1,000? Yes, it's probably happened, but I don't know, 1 or 2 games every 10 games. These wins with the Stonewall system have been like pretty much under 25 moves. I want to say almost every game. I want to say almost every game. So I wouldn't just say that it's because I'm playing like stronger moves than them, because I mean, I can play stronger moves than 800s in any opening. But these systems in particular, these Stonewall ones, are just like hyper aggressive, and I think it definitely has to do with the aggression of the openings that I'm playing here primarily. Thanks, Cardisco, for 35 months. Welcome back, buddy. Welcome back, nearly 3 years. This is, yeah, I mean, a new series, let's call it. New series. Crude Blazing's not buying it. He says, no, skill issue. You're welcome, Finvar. You are welcome. It is a bit of an early stream, Sky Money. Welcome on in. We got Chess TV here with us. God bless them. If anyone's joining the channel here, hasn't seen it before, don't be afraid to click that follow button so you know when we're live, which is almost every day, truly. Not only myself, but another Grandmaster, Eric Hansen from Canada, is here keeping the stream very active. I think we put in some of the highest streaming hours in Twitch chess, that's for sure. So also means it's a great place to be subscribed. You get good value here. Thanks, Finvar. Oh, very kind. Thanks for the 300 bits. Hotshot Beam, 8-month resub. I owe you a ban. You won at Marbles, but you didn't get anything. When did you win at Marbles? First of all. And then second of all, if you won at Marbles, you were supposed to administer a ban, usually. And you had to be a subscriber while you did it. If you did it while you were a pleb, you got no rights and privileges here. Something like that, Trouble 055. That's the plan. Got a nice win there. Let's stick with it. Get another 5-minute game. All right, we got the white pieces. I see the Shamrock there. Little 3-leaf clover from our opponent. All right, of course, taking is a good little move, but we're going to try to stick to the script. Right? We want F4. Okay. We're always happy to see moves like this, truly. I mean, we want to play C3 anyway. I would even spend time myself to do it. So the fact that we see it is great. Gonna play F4 basically because I have to. My next move is gonna be the knight out. But I need to play F4 first, or we're not really getting a Stonewall. Any reason for bishop d3 before f4? Just habit, you know. I usually like to put the bishop there to prevent bishop f5, but I would say in this case, pretty much the answer is no. But we're also in a bit of a unique situation because there's not many times where with the white pieces, you will have to play e3 and take back. I'm doing this so I can still show you guys the Stonewall, but it's quite possible against d4, e5 that you don't need to set up a Stonewall, just take it and play normally. All right, I see the knight can pop in here, so I'm definitely going to go knight d2 to stop that. And I don't see any piece attacking e5, so I'm not like in a rush to do that. Remember, bishop g4, queen e1 always gets me out of trouble. Now we can pop in here. If he wants to take, be my guest. Keep in mind, if black plays knight d7, that's not really going to help the situation. It's like I'm always ready to take back. So okay, now this is an example where I usually say that the knight on d2 performs an actual role, preventing knight e4. So really pay attention. If I take this knight and I bring it to f3, which looks so natural to support this guy, then all of a sudden black drops the knight in. And if I take, the pawn takes back, black might play f5, get a protected pass pawn. I mean, that's actually a disaster. So my knight and bishop, they pretty much need to stay here. Which means, yes, this bishop is going to be chilling on that square for a little while. So in this position, I'm actually going to play a move like queen f3. I'm in no rush to, give up this square. So knight f3, I would probably classify as a little bit of a mistake in previous position. Not a big fan of it. Okay, knight there. Again, if you go, queen h3, you're kind of walking into stuff there. My knight can move, but knight b3, I mean, I think I've told you guys, you don't really want to play on the queen side at all. Like, just period. So, after knight d7, I'm probably going to go a little bit thematic here and just send it. We've got this square covered. We've got the queen flexible, ready to move over. It's time to get something going over here. And g5 would be really nice. So he's taken. Take with the f pawn. And despite a few pieces coordinating on this pawn, I've got a few pieces of my own coordinating down here. So I'm gonna start by taking this one with check. Right? So this is all from opening that f file. Yes, we lost the pawn. We take here. You'll notice there's no checkmate, right? This is like a common puzzle rush pattern where you bring the queen down here and you like sack it. But black has two pieces covering that, right? So it's not that easy. King goes over. This bishop's also defended. So at this point, we've got a great pawn. Bishop. These pieces are all great. I think that knight f3 is a very decent move here. Like, threatens bishop or knight to g5, covers h2, even stops queen h4. Like, knight f3 is a good, solid move, truly. There's nothing wrong with that. Queen h5 is just being used to the attacking themes here, hitting the h7 pawn, knowing that if h6 happens, we can play something like queen g6 and go for mate. And if g6 happens, I can play bishop takes g6 because it's pinned. And if nothing happens, I can mate him on h7, right? So essentially everything has just transpired from taking. We take on f7, we go queen h5, and now we have a forced mate in 2. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. And again, not spending too many moves here. Only 17 moves. Yes, the mate in 2, no strat. If you thought that was a mate in 1, you still have some work to do. If anyone asks me, I sacrificed for mate here. Yeah, you look at a position like this, g4 really comes to mind. And anytime you get f takes, it's so powerful to have this queen and rook lined up. So in this position, I love the move queen f3, but I just want to caution against moves like this. Because I see knight e4, and I'm immediately like, this isn't really the right vibe. Right? This move isn't always going to work for black, but most of the time it will. He's threatening to go maybe f5, just cement that knight, and that doesn't feel good to play against. So I like it better when I have the e5 square, and my opponent does not have the e4 square. then all of a sudden I get to enjoy something that my opponent doesn't have access to, which feels good. Splar. Tier 2 and 60 months. Thanks for 5 years, Splar. Good to see you here, buddy. One of our strongest and longest tier 2s. Splar. Roberto Mondavi, thanks for the 8 months. Love seeing your thinking in real time. Even better than unconventional opening. Hello to Roberto. Buddy, you love seeing my thinking. I love seeing your chess. We'll trade. We'll keep this trade going for a while. Yeah, 5 years is a long time. On the dot as well from Splar, so very special resub there. Okay, another pretty good Stonewall game, I would say. Let's once again jump into another one. E4, very, very common move. I'm reacting with E6, playing D5. A lot of times people will push, and I'll play F5 and at least try to get a similar structure. But if they take, then we do get positions that resemble the Stonewall pretty decently. It takes, knight takes, bishop d6, castle. I think you guys have probably gotten used to the moves here. And remember, if anyone ever gives you a check in the Stonewall, you play c3 or c6 quick as hell. Like that move is just so basic. It's part of your setup anyway, and it repels the bishop attack, so you don't even think about it. All right, c4 played. I'm gonna play this move anyway because it was always gonna be part of my plan. C6, but it's nice to support the center. However, if the pawn gets taken, I will be taking with the e pawn because you always want to open up your bishops even more. The e file just feels good. He goes here, and I'm gonna call your bluff and say, all right, I'll fall for it. I'll fall for it. D4, and this position, he could have played D4 basically without giving me an extra pawn. Like that just didn't need to happen, basically. Bishop D6 back, and you can probably guess what my next couple moves are going to be. Develops, I'm looking at knight here and queen here. Those are the good next moves. All right, we want to play E5. This is a great pawn structure, but pawn to E5 is really where it's at. Now all of a sudden we've got rid of our weak pawn on E6, gone E5, and position looks better than ever. Something to be a little careful of, cognizant. Bishop takes H2, knight G4 check, thinking you're winning this bishop. Knight G4 check, white sacks their queen on G4. And even though you win their queen, they win your queen on D8. And guess what? At the end of all that, white's gotten a piece and your queen, plus an extra piece here. And what have we gotten? We've gotten the queen, and maybe we'll recapture the bishop. So we end up down a piece, actually, after all that. So bishop H2 and knight G4, although it might look special, it's not that special. So the moves that I'm looking at are H6 or queen C7. Those are the moves that come to mind here. I like queen C7 because it unpins the knight, and it looks like H6 can happen anyway. So I'm going to start with this. Just make a threat. But I think H6 would be a great move there as well. He goes G3. Well, I am immediately drawn to bishop H3 because, I mean, it just kind of makes a threat. It's the rook. Okay. Made the rook move. Now, a move like rook e8 will be, fantastic here. Like, there's never going to be anything wrong with rook e8. But I'm also looking at this position here and thinking, how do I keep attacking it? And absolutely, knight g4 comes to mind because it's all in stride here. I've got a couple moves to this diagonal I'm considering. F2 is hanging right now. It would be a very tough position to deal with. F4, you know, just about the worst move you could do, opening up this diagonal. But because I'm pressuring that pawn, of course I'm making F4 very tempting. Probably not tempting enough for him to play it, but I'm hoping that my opponent's considering moving the F pawn, because that is where I can really get some checkmates in there. So every piece is kind of working right now, which is fantastic. It's like the dream in chess. Trying to think what a finishing touch might be. You know, something like this or this all look like good moves. I am kind of drawn to the move h6 just to pass the move to my opponent. I think I'm going to do that while I continue to think here. Never hurts. But yeah, rook e8 will be a great move. Queen b6 I like as well. Maybe there's something down there on f2 in the future, like sacrifice like that. Wouldn't surprise me. Okay, and he's gone for bishop e3, which I think is kind of what we wanted. That's why I decided to throw in the move h6. Because I see this and I know that I can take it and go for d4. I know I can go for d4 right away. No matter what, I'll be winning something down there. So d4 to me just looks too good to be true, essentially. I'm winning a piece here. The question is just whether I want to throw this move in first. Do I want to throw queen f7 in with queen f3 and go for mate? I think we can keep it simple for the moment and go d4. But I look at d4, and while I can't say my opponent is going to play this, you have to be aware. You know, bishop c4 check. Bishop takes d4 and queen takes d4, and I'm not actually winning any material there. So I'm a little more drawn to this based on just that calculation and nothing else. Queen f3. Getting my pieces finally developed with rook e8 will always feel good. d4 looks a little bit rushed because of bishop c4 check. Not a big fan. And remember, this move, you might not see bishop c4 first. You might see just bishop takes and then bishop c4. So there are some good variations to go and do there. Taking looks essentially automatic here. We're definitely going to take this. Keep in mind, bishop to d4, you know, not exactly the best because bishop h7. But after takes here, I think we can just move our bishop back. And, you know, we'll have these threats in reserve. Whether or not we win a rook here remains to be seen. We have d4 as a threat if the king gets out of the way, for example. And we also just have an idea like rook e8. So again, bishop g4 is kind of screaming to be played. I'm just going to start with rook e8. Bishop b6 with a check. We can win some material here, but we'll see if I'm forced to. We'll see if I'm forced to take that material. I kind of want to go for some checkmate type of things. Bishop g4, because I love the fact that these bishops are restricting the king. So I'm looking at bishop g4 to f3. You know, there's no rook f1 available. This move looks kind of like a free piece. It looks remarkably similar to a free piece I've seen before. Bishop g4. And I think these bishops are going to tell the tale here. Let's double the rooks. Before even taking. Taking's an amazing move. But I think I could try to live without it. Double the rooks. Take this. Hitting this knight now. You know, maybe rook e3. Getting down in there. Like, I'm looking at rook e3 to take this pawn. I'm still not even fully looking at bishop takes f3. Like knight g1, for example. I want to play rook e3. Rook e1, a little bit of a weird move there. But we'll get the rook involved nonetheless. I'll bring the bishop in, and I think that should just about get it done. Queen e3. It's a surprising move there. We'll go pick up his rook. And hopefully we're able to check. Hopefully we're able to force a mate there. If h5, king h5 here. If h5, king h3 there. It's actually a force mate no matter what. Bit of an odd finish because while my pre-moves were good, he started making a lot of very bad moves at the end. So it's like rook e1, yeah, I considered taking a free rook, but this move was going to be good regardless. And then here it's like, yeah, I considered he might take it, but this move was going to be good regardless. So maybe our work was a little bit more difficult than it needed to be, but don't think it was ever in doubt. But I love just the patience here. You have the bishops, just let them do their work. Eventually, it mounted into a position where I hadn't taken anything, but now every single piece is working, and I mean, it's just, position is completely over. Rather than maybe cashing in early and taking this rook. So I much prefer keeping the bishops on the board here rather than going directly for bishop g4. So I just like this. I like this more. Bishop pair is getting better and better. Hello, Lolly. You're playing some OTB chess, Lolly? Milk TTV, thanks for the prime sub. No, Xmon, actually the logo we have for Chessbrot is indeed the logo we've had for the longest time, since the start. So it's been there since the beginning. All right, let's jump into another game there. I like the bishop stat game. Thought he put up a great defensive effort because guess what? I could see this game ending in 20 moves, and it absolutely was not. So I give him a lot of credit here. It's not easy to defend, especially against those bishops. And hey, it ended up being a nice little fight here. GG to Vinny. All right, black pieces. We'll hit him with e6 after e4, d5, and again, if we see e5, we'll go f5. If they take, we'll be planning f5 anyway. Okay, finally we see something I would say a little bit more reasonable. Taking has always been kind of helpful for me. Everybody seems to be doing it, but it's very nice for me to, you know, develop my knight like that. So just kind of beneficial for me. All right, so pieces need to develop here. We're in an unusual kind of stonewall position. I barely even want to call it a stonewall. I've got this set up, but that pawn should be on e3, right? There's no way it should be on e5 here, but that's what we're dealing with. So it means I can't get into the e4 square very easily. That's the truth of the matter. The only way I'm able to get to that square is via c5 or g5, which means I like to play to control those squares the most. So here, for example, I might try to move c5, trying to get a capture and then bring my knight into e4. Don't think it's going to be that easy, but it's worth a try. All right, bishop here. I'll pretty much always be doing something to the effect of a6. Takes. All right, and now he took. So, you know, maybe the knight can't get there, but I have another knight that might be able to make that journey. This is probably a good thing. Knight d4. Queen b6 looks particularly interesting. I'm actually curious, if I go queen b6, how he's going to answer. Is it going to be c3, giving up that pawn? Or is it going to be b3, giving up that knight? Oof, and maybe this pawn as well. Check. And, you know, bishop b5 also looks like it's probably the next idea. Yeah, I'm definitely looking at bishop b5 here. It's not foolproof, but it's definitely tempting. We're not really able to get our queen in there for any sort of mate. So without that available, it's got me thinking, what's the next play? Is it bishop c6? Try to aim at the king. Because I think we are going to kind of get slowly booted out of our position here. We're not going to be able to maintain this. We're up a piece, so we've already done our job, but as tempting as checkmate is, it looks very difficult to facilitate here. I can't think of a good way. Plus, this bishop is kind of about to be attacked, and the amount of squares it has to retreat to are slightly limited, so can't really think of anything too fun to do here. I think we'll just get out, save our bishop. Yeah, knight e7 on the previous turn, I think you really have to be careful with, because knight e7, you know, if our bishop got attacked, queen d2, bishop back, you can see b4 would actually trap our bishop. Bishop h4, g5 would trap the bishop. So knight e7 was specifically a move I was like, not sure I actually want to do that. Okay, well, I will play d4. Even if we end up losing a pawn here, that's okay. b4 is hanging, and I would love to open up that bishop. So I feel good about that. Can retreat the bishop next. So I'm definitely happier with this bishop out. Making threats. A5. Good move. Good move. Thinking about this. Try to get down in there. Queen takes d4, queen e2, and I can only imagine queen f2, queen g4 happening. So This definitely has a pitfall here. So once again, I consider that to be a very good move. Queen d5 makes a threat, but not like completely winning or anything like that. All right, there is king or rook g1 rather. Okay, so I'm gonna play an aggressive move. Looks like it might be a blunder, but actually him taking that pawn after knight e7 just makes my win even easier to understand. I'm also threatening the bishop with check. Bishop back. Well, this move will come without being a surprise, I think. Now it's just about hunting this king, honestly. Just gonna castle. Can bring the rook over. I think this king is going to be in serious trouble. Let's start by giving one single check. Because there's a pretty funny looking checkmate here. Where, you know, every piece is actually playing a role there. Now I think we get to react to knight c3 by developing the rest of our pieces and impressing everyone with our great rooks and control over the position and understanding that the king has only one square on the board and he will be getting checkmated directly after. GG to Jimmer Pool. The king was always being hunted that game. It really was. It was never safe. We won a knight in the center of the board, so that was pretty nasty. Got a nice win there at the end. This was always winning, like I said, but being able to hunt the king effectively. Long castle, rook f8, and then all we had to do was bring another rook over to check, because, I mean, look how active these pieces are, covering every single square. White probably had to do a move like, you know, pushing the h-pawn. Still, though, extremely, extremely difficult to survive in this position. Slim, thanks for the 8-month resub. Teak Stilts, thanks for the brand new Prime. Xmon, the 4-month resub. Happy to have you here, Xmon. And Coacher22, thanks for the 28 months. Am I from Montreal? No, not at all. I've lived there, but I've lived in a lot of places. I've lived in Spain, not from Spain. Did these guys get their elo back? Yes, there's a note if you visit my account, which goes by the name Wonestall. Very, very inconspicuous. If you go to the account, it'll have a little note there that says that people will get their rating back if they lose against this account. Teak Stilts, you're yeah, you came at a good time. Knight h6. Wonder if they'll give me a double exclam or if that move is supposed to be just normal because it's not a sacrifice. Is knight h6 going to get me a double exclam, guys? What do you think? I can tell you that it is the best move in the position by far. But do you think, based on what we know about brilliancies, do you think it's going to qualify? What do you guys think? Looks like no was the strong answer there. No. Boo. It wasn't a sacrifice. It's just the best move. Congratulations, it's the best. You know, the analysis is like, you know, knight h6 or queen takes b4. They don't really view them as that much different. Maybe this has to do with the move rook a2 here. Ah, yeah, rook a2. Very obvious move. Every other move is forced mate, but I tell you, rook a2 is something simple. Yeah, can't be brilliant if it's the best move. Remember, the brilliancies are not the best moves and sacrifices. This move was neither. This move was neither. It was not a sacrifice, and it was the best move. Sad. Just sad. What's the idea behind this? Well, I don't think that's too difficult to understand. I checkmated by taking this. Rook A2. It's a super simple, obvious move. Can't believe you didn't see it. I think it's obvious. All right. And that's nice. That's I think us hitting 850 precisely, like on the dot. So here we go. 850. I think it's a 900 push kind of morning. We're here with the Europeans, the principal chess players. We're here with multi-month resubs, multi-year resubs. Yo Bob, 48 months to be precise. We've had some 4 or 5 plus month resubs, or well, definitely month resubs, but also year resubs this morning. So thank you very much, Yo Bob. It's been 4 years exactly. Let's see if we can't get 900 this morning. Now D4, we don't need to be playing E6. We just go straight for D5. Here, I don't like to play C6 because remember, in the center, the whole point is to take back that way. So I'm definitely going to be playing pawn to E6. I see knight there, and immediately, because I don't really want that to happen, I'm going to play the move F5. At F3, let's just make sure to achieve the desired setup. Always capture this way. Don't get tempted into that. Bishop here, I'm not particularly annoyed by. Remember, I'm not taking with the knight because I want the knight on E4. So, okay, goes E3. Now I have a decision to make. Obviously, I want my knight on E4. We get that. I want a castle. We know that. What I also want to do is I want to stop knight E5. So knight D7 comes to mind here. Definitely. But after knight D7, bishop D3, and then it's like if I play knight F6, suddenly this pawn is hanging. And if I move my knight, well, takes that square and gives up that, it doesn't make sense. So I think what we want to do is just bring the knight out first. There's nothing I can do to really stop that move from happening. I think I'll castle. And I think I will praise myself for not playing knight D7. Genius. Okay, he's brought the knight in. We'll go kick the knight with knight D7. I mean, we can't let that guy sit there for free. Now he's setting up the Stonewall, and he's feeling real good about himself. But the problem is, my friend, is that you've set everything up while you're down a piece. It's not going to work. I can just trade for this knight, and I just have an extra bishop here, so it's should be a very smooth conversion now. Take that knight. He's got no pieces, like he's only got major pieces. And queen b4 check. He's cut off here. Would not be surprised to see it checkmate in a couple moves here. All right, well, that's going to be mate next turn. You've only got a couple moves to stop it. And when I say stop it, I really mean just prolong the inevitable. yeah, this did not go well for my opponent. I mean, just giving up a bishop for free there. Nothing much to it. People look at the Stonewall, they think it's got all these, you know, mistakes, weaknesses, problems with it. Now, get these quick wins as a result. GG. I really wish he didn't take here because I was looking forward to how this game might have turned out. But I thought what was likely was that he might have played this. I might have followed up with 94. He might realize like this is bad, of course, and maybe take him with the bishop. And after 95, we would have played 97. Takes, and this is a great attacking position. Black's about to play queen g5, bishop h3, rook f6, rook f8, and that alone, maybe plus an h-pawn, is probably enough to have some serious, like, nearly game-winning threats on the board. So he ended up taking, which made things very easy. But I was saying here, I want to prevent knight e5. So, of course, I was tempted by knight d7. But then I see a move like this, and I'm like, okay, I can't really do this, which is what I want to do. g6 I can play, but it's a lot, you know, to do all this just to stop that. I don't think it's unreasonable. Of course, at the higher levels, I would say these are just kind of moves wasting time. I would just get the knight in. But at the lower levels, it might be very effective to just stop that move and then take all the necessary precautions in order to make your knight e4 move like emphatic. Like by the time you get a knight e4, it's going to be winning. Game over. So I wish we could have kept playing the game, but got a quick win in there. Instead, Malone Ranger, thank you for the resub. I was just talking about how many of these long-time resubs we have, and the Malone Ranger is a sizable resub himself. 90 months, 9-0. And a tier 3 to boot. Thanks a lot to the Malone Ranger. It's also been the morning of the Tulumbras resubbing. Thanks a lot, Malone. Great to have you back. We've been streaming for a while, as these subs constantly remind me. Right? If that's the kind of resubs, those are the kind of resubs that we have out there. It's another reminder that we've been streaming for a damn long time. All right. Let's continue. Got a nice win there. We got the white pieces now. We're going to start with d4. Again, I like to go e3, and as soon as e5 is a threat, I'll just get that out there. Stop bishop f5. Again, it's not the end of the world if my opponent plays it first. I'll still go bishop d3, and maybe we'll trade. But if I can get there ahead of time, then I think it's kind of nice. All right, here, let's play knight d2. Again, I'd like to control that square early. Bishop there, we're going to castle. I assume we'll castle this way, but no. It actually brings the bishop to f5, which is exciting. We don't get to see this very much. Because the pawn's going to take, and, you know, even though I've been allowing this, I have to say, this structure against the Stonewall is truly the worst possible. Because black gets to enjoy the e4 square for his piece, and if we put our knight there, they can kick us out with f6. So they're kicking us out of a great square while having a great square themselves. It's the worst of every world. So although I've been kind of allowing this, playing knight e5, they essentially take and I win a piece. Truly, in these positions, if I want to be like a little more mindful, I would actually defend this bishop rather than take. So queen e2 I like, but I don't love. And that's because it allows knight e4. Queen c2 I like a little better because it stops that. So if you want to take, go ahead, right? And you see how I keep controlling the e4 square. So I'm not letting him play that move, which I think is a big deal. The more that you can control the e4 square, And now I can use the e5 square. I think this is just a big asset. There's no pin anymore, right? My queen's not there. So now we go here. And again, this is what I was mentioning. People are so desperate to use that e4 square. It will pay dividends just covering it ahead of time, right? People want to use it so much. They see you use the e4 square there. I'll go ahead and take this now. But man, if I didn't take that e4 knight right there, I just would have felt bad. It's so rewarding. It's like I will sit there and I'll leave mountains hanging in order to take back on e4 because it just validates my entire strategy. It just makes me feel good. It's like, okay, you've done it right, son. It's like, honestly speaking, would I rather have a position where I've taken on e4, or would I rather have a position like this? I can't play the move because we're in the game. But let's imagine knight takes bishop, f5. And it's like, I'm up a piece. But the guy gets to achieve d5, knight e4, f5. He should never be able to achieve that. Should never. Right? That's exactly what I'm here to prevent. So by taking, of course, we're making a statement. And he plays this odd move here, which allows me to actually do both. Take the pawn in the middle and take the piece. So kind of friendly by him. He doesn't even play f5. He just plays bishop h4. So all in all, this has been a rather friendly opponent. And this has worked out really well once again. We'll bring our knight back to the middle. This bishop is very sidelined here, not really up to anything. Yeah, and let's go ahead and take now. Probably take with the knight here. G3 might be not the craziest move to throw in case he gets tempted by this. He'll lose a piece. Yeah, so he goes back. Now, I'm actually thinking that he's about to take there. I almost don't want to... I don't want to ruin it, you know? It's like I want to let him take. So despite a free pawn here, let's play queen c2 and make a threat. And just let him... Exactly. Just give him enough rope to hang himself with. It's very important. You just have to trust that your opponent is going to do that. The Stonewall knight on e5 is so damn annoying. It's like I don't even blame people when they take it and blunder pieces. Okay, we got in there. We picked his pocket. We got out. Now I can see my opponent doing this. So I'm definitely interested in this diagonal. Bishop d2, it looks like I'm just developing up to nothing. Actually, I'm making the biggest threat possible on the chessboard, and damn it, he saw it. But it's not going to stop me from continuing. Bishop c3 is a great move. These bishops are doing something nasty there. Thinking about rook h4 next. Check. Just so much firepower here in these positions. Let's take check. Check. And you'll notice that the black king doesn't have any square to continue defending the queen, so all right, GG. GG, good battle there. I probably want to highlight this moment the most because we've had this at some of the lower elo games, even when we were starting out 400 or 500. And I just want to point out that this is quite frustrating. Takes. Yeah, we can bring a knight in here, but okay, our opponent castles, whatever. They go here, let's say. It's not even the best move, but let's say they go here. Takes, and they're going to play f6 to kick us out. And let's say we have to take these positions. We just don't really have any edge. We don't, like, you know, like they have a pawn on e4. They're going to play f5. Like, there's just nothing going on here. It's kind of boring. So it's important when this move happens that we don't allow these double pawns. Another way it could be kind of bad is like this knight could move, let's say maybe to d7. Again, not saying this is the best, but knight d7 and then f6. And this is the idea of like they keep us out of e5. We just have a horrible weakness on e3 and we'd never play our knight d5 anymore. I don't like this. So I'm trying to stay away from this stuff as much as possible. And after this, queen e2 is a great move, but queen e2 allows knight e4 and I don't like this move. Again, it's like, why am I allowing this pawn to be here? And God forbid I go like, I don't know, let's just say king here. Takes, and f5. And I just don't really think I have any serious advantage here. These positions are kind of meh, which is why I don't like allowing knight e4. So I think queen c2 is necessary here to stop that move. So much so that you can see here, after I got my knight d5, he felt compelled to play knight e4 even though it's completely losing. Just works really well. Taylor R, thanks for the 37 months. Welcome back, Taylor. Going on to year 4 there with Prime. Fly W Meta. Maybe Flu Meta. Thanks for the 2-month resub with Prime. Welcome back, y'all. Yeah, that was a pretty brutal attack there at the end. Not gonna lie. All right. 867 on the way up and up. Let's go for another game. e4, I think we know what we're up to here. 6 goes here again. We'll go d5. You might take this way, but usually they don't. After f5, they usually take, but it makes more sense, and I think it's simply better to just play knight here. Like it just makes more sense to me. All right, I'll complete our setup here. He's castled. Everybody's happy. This knight can't really move here, so it kind of has to go to e7. h6 is not really an option at the moment due to the bishop. Bishop g5, though, I will happily attack you. And as much as I want to play g5, I have to remind myself knight takes is actually going to win the game. Let's be careful. Very careful. g5, knight takes, bishop h5. Now, I do have king d8, so while I don't think I love my position, I think it's playable. And he played it quick as a flash. Credit to him. Look, if my queen was still on that square, then what's about to happen is probably going to still happen. Except guess what? I wouldn't be able to play my king over. Now, the only legal move, apart from this, would be either rook takes or knight there. Both are pretty bad. So I'm going to go knight here. But you can see how my position would be like, just, you know, so many times worse if my queen was still there. So that's why I said I don't think I could have done anything on the last turn, but I'm happy enough to have this position now. Let's take, and maybe, just maybe, guys, we might be able to achieve the Stonewall dream of knight e4. We're doing it for Stonewall players across the world. This one's for y'all. Let me have it. I got this pawn covered. It's not going anywhere. And of course, let's make sure we take note of that square on h2, which is most certainly a target. All right, I'm not gonna wait. I can't wait. Knight e4. I've been pining for this moment all day. Knight c5. Well, I think you guys know that I'm not about to let my knight on e4 move backwards and take that knight. Of course, I want you to take me. That's how this is going to work. So maybe just a slow developing move. Say, okay, go ahead, you take me. See what you got. Stonewall, baby. Yay. That's not much, but we can at least be proud that we got our knight to e4 on the Stonewall. We took with the f pawn. These are all things that were, you know, by design. Let's say that. Queen g8 looks kind of intimidating, but the move itself is not really too scary. I'm just gonna keep running my king away. It's just important to remember, like, after an impressive move like this, that you don't actually have to take it. Like, a lot of people would take it, the king moves, and then you lose your other rook, and it's like you lost 2 rooks there for absolutely no reason. Just move out of the way, and it's like, okay, now I'm threatening to win your queen, and you can't promote your pawn. Like, I've got 4 pieces here covering it. So queen g8, just one of those moves that looks impressive, but really accomplishes nothing. Queen back. Now I think it's time for the rest of the army to join the fray. e5 looks good, offers a queen trade, and opens my bishop. Definitely looking at moves like bishop f4. Maybe rook h6 to follow, for example. So I think those types of moves have my eye at the moment. While I think e5 might be one of the better, safer moves here, definitely a little bit attracted to bishop f4. So let's do this. So if g3, then I like the intermediate move, rook h6. Rook h6 has the idea of doubling rooks on the h file. He's gone rook there. Well, I think rook h6 is good. I definitely like bishop h2. So if I play bishop h2, then I'm worried, okay, I can't double the rooks after that. So I'm going to start with the rook. I still have bishop takes pawn, and then I have this rook coming over afterwards, which that just looks like, it looks like we've done enough there. And hey, after this, we get to unleash a good little pattern here, you know? I think we'll get to use a pattern we've used before. Does anyone know what pattern we're talking about? Checkmating pattern. There's a few ways to do it. I definitely think one is better than the other. Rook takes here, then white could play g3, whereas bishop takes first. They have to react, and then we take the bishop, and it's like, now this just gets met by that, which is kind of nice. Bishop g1 is our sneaky pattern, yes. Because if you move the bishop this way, anywhere, the king moves, and you can't actually get your bishop out of the way for your queen to get to h2. This way, you give a check, and then you free up the h2 square. GG. Let's keep it going. This was a funny looking game, but we actually did manage to get a knight d4. But of course, these games with the black pieces are never going to be the most instructive because white's playing e4, and you really can't play this opening against e4. It's better against d4. You play d5, or as white, you play d4 and you'll be able to get it. But even still, we're making it work. Some makeshift London turned Stonewall positions. All right, with the white pieces, we'll go d4, e3. This is our follow-up move. Just getting there ahead of time. Not a big deal, but okay, knight there. That's our cue for sure to play f4. All right, let's go c3. Kind of an important move to stop knight b4. And again, knight d2, right? Not knight f3. Good move, but not great. Knight d2. Stop knight e4 for good. You've got a great pawn structure. Black has no pawn pushes. This position you see a lot, and I swear it's so winning for white. Like, I don't know how black doesn't lose this game in 20 moves. Because our knight goes to e5. They don't have knight e4. I just see absolutely zero ideas for black. Okay, they're already moving their bishop like 2 times in the opening. Let's pay no attention and bring our knight in. Okay, bishop d7. Well, guess what? You still can't castle if you're my opponent because the queen is in the way. So maybe my castling this way will cause him to castle this way, which is like, you know, okay, I did it. You can do it. It's nice and safe. But knight e5 after that is still going to have some pretty serious attacking chances. And there you go. That's why we put our knight here, guys. I'm telling you, people are desperate to play knight e4. I mean, they just have no moves. It's completely dead, their position. So they're so desperate, they're willing to give up a pawn. That's fine with me. Okay, h6 has been played. I love the move e4 as a follow-up. I mean, it's always going to be a really good move. So I'm going to start with e4, get rid of my weak pawn. Takes. The bishop is great in both directions. And my next move is probably going to be knight e5. I don't know what my opponent is up to here, quite honestly. It's a serious move there. Well, I'm going to probably start by taking this because I just want to open the bishop even more. Of course, the pawn will take back, but then let's plop the knight in. Right, this is what this opening is all about. Take with the f pawn, and I got queen h5 check. I got a loose pawn here. You know, f4, queen h5, for example. Yeah, there's bishop here. There's queen here. A lot of very good follow-ups. Check. Guess what our next move is going to be after king there? Of course, we're not waiting for anybody to get developed, to get to safety. No, we're sacking the bishop on f4. Not bishop c4, bowler. You know, bishop e8. I think black is actually still fighting pretty well there. King there, bishop g6 after, but bishop f4. This should be over. Over under on brilliancy. That's a good question. You guys think bishop f4 is going to be brilliancy? I think it's sacrifice and it's winning, but the problem that I have is that bishop f4 it might be the best move in the position. So I'm not sure we're going to get credit there. All right, well, all we need to do is move this bishop, and we can give a check to our opponent. So we should naturally move it in the most destructive way possible. Bishop here. And we have a nice mate there. Under 20 moves. Good game. I think most people are in agreement that's probably not a brilliancy. I probably have to agree. Wow. A brilliant move. Well, it's gotta be bishop f4, right? I don't think there's any... I think knight d2 deserves a brilliancy, by the way. Knight d2 deserves a brilliancy. So let's have a look. Bishop takes f4 is brilliant. Let's check the analysis. Oh, I missed that. That's why it was brilliant. Because it wasn't the best move. I thought bishop f4 was not going to be brilliancy because it was the best move. But it wasn't the best move, which fits our criteria. So that's why it's a brilliancy, because rook takes f4 is actually better. So that's why... Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. It has to be a sacrifice. Has to still be in your favor. The evaluation still has to be in your favor. But it can't be the best move. So this makes sense. So bishop takes f4. Brilliant. Got it. I am surprised by rook takes f4. This is a strong-looking move, for sure. I think while I see this, and I can see that it would be winning, I'm mostly surprised that this move is not also winning. By just as much, if not more. So is rook takes brilliant too, or no? Well, I think this really defines the algorithm on chess.com. Do you guys think rook takes f4 is a brilliancy? Because I'll be honest with you. It should not be a brilliancy. It is the best move in the position. If we follow the algo, it should not be brilliant. It shouldn't. But do you think it will get a brilliant tag? I mean, why would it get a brilliancy? It's the best move. Congratulations, you played the best move. No one cares. This is the moment of truth. We have to recalibrate the system. Every move is brilliant. As long as you sack a piece, it's brilliant. Is that the formula? What is it, chess.com? Let me know. So I know how to get brilliancies in my games. Do I just have to sack a piece? Is that it? Is the Jerome just brilliancy after brilliancy? Like h4 is a top 3 move. But I think the move h4 is not going to get a double exclamation mark. Rather, it gets an inaccuracy tag. It's all about the sacrifices. Bishop f4, rook f4. I mean, it was just pick of the litter. Wow, good to know. We'll have to really work on how we interpret the chess.com brilliancy system. But I will say one thing. A lot of our games have had brilliancies in this Stonewall. Like, it is ripe for brilliancies. So if you're trying to brilliancy farm, you know, trying to impress your buddies, trying to impress the lady, Stonewall seems like the opening for you. Diener89, thanks for 39 months. The sub anniversaries. Yeah, thanks, Diener. Daryl in Paradise, 6 months with Prime. Welcome back, Daryl. Okay, so that's good to know. We got two brilliant moves possible. $881. Let's keep going. Another sub 20 move checkmate win. All right. We're going to start with d4, e3. We see that move. I mean, say it with me. We should all know it by now. We see this. And again, I've been mentioning, like, my opponents can be playing this, and it's no problem. I'm going to play bishop d3. But if they don't play it, then I'll take the opportunity to go bishop d3 myself ahead of time. So they played to move e6. And you'll notice that this move order that my opponent has chosen is a lot smarter. Previously, I had pawn here, knight here, and when bishop there was played, I played queen c2. Not really possible here. So we're going to start with knight f3. I'm going to get castled, but remember, I don't want to take this. I don't want to allow that. That is the worst structure against the Stonewall, like, just that I could possibly have. We'll castle. And you'll notice I can't really set all that up with queen c2 very easily, right? There's no way I can play this move and this move to allow queen c2 to happen, right? It's just not possible. So black has probably set things up in the best way against how I'm playing specifically with bishop d3. Because now, knight d2, which I do like, by the way, we get a pawn on d3. And the reason why that's good is the same reason why this is good for black. Right? Here, black controls e4 and has another pawn to control e5. Here, we take back and we have this pawn controlling e4 and these pawns controlling e5. So it's just like a nice way to control the central square. So knight d2, I'm actually hoping that my opponent takes, because then I have this d pawn to control pretty much the only weakness in the position. So I'm hoping we see this, but there's no guarantee. Again, he could just castle. And if he castles, I can't play c3 and queen there. I can play queen here, but it's not the same thing. So he castles. I think it's time for our knight. I think it's time for our knight. You know, just put that knight in there. We'll see how he takes it. Of course, we're going with the f pawn. Of course. All right, knight into e4. Now, I'm definitely thinking about knight takes. Bishop takes as well is tempting, but I'll start with knight takes because if he takes with the pawn, I don't mind moving backwards. I'll have the two bishops in that case. And while this bishop looks bad, there's still some hope on this side of the board for it. And if bishop takes, I would happily trade it. So yeah, let's save this bishop. You can see how well I still like my position. Black is definitely in a spot that is a little bit better than where he usually is, because he was able to get that knight into e4. That's why I work so hard to develop my pieces to prevent knight e4. It's all about preventing that move. If you can prevent it, you're doing well. You're doing well. Okay, queen g5. Well, you could say there's a little bit of an idea there. Bishop h3. It's not really a dangerous plan because we have rook f2, so it doesn't do that much. But it's still, like, it's still needs some attention, put it that way. So after this, I'm definitely thinking of king h1. I'm also thinking, okay, rook d8 is coming, and there's probably going to be a pin and some questions to answer there. So I'm just going to play c3, just complete our Stonewall position here. And bishop there, I'm going to play rook f2. And otherwise, I'm going to maybe consider our bishop maneuver. The other thing I like is our queen maneuver. Queen e1 out to g3, for example. So bishop d2, queen f2. All right, everybody is coming over here. Like, the party is happening on this side of the board. With so many threats here, I'm definitely going to sidestep my king because that deals with every single threat all at once. Bishop d2, queen here, maybe rook g1, for example. Okay, f6, it's like not even a discussion. We're immediately and automatically taking that. After rook takes, I am definitely interested in a move like queen g3. trade the queens and also threaten g4, which surprisingly will win a piece afterwards. But bishop d2 is like, that's my other move that I know is kind of a guarantee. But I like queen g3. I think it's very strong. Takes, g4 is nearly unstoppable. I say nearly. There's a few ways out of it. Very tempting move, but I think he's understanding the danger here in g4. All right, rook there, g4. This was my plan, saying that, hey, your bishop is now boxed in on every single diagonal. After I would say, not only a great opening, but a great middle game as well. Mike on 760. Finally with a little blunder there. Here we go. We do have an extra piece, which means my plan is now going to be to trade for that knight and just be up a piece. No one can resist the check. No one can resist the check. Maybe c4 to just kind of help us out here. Maybe here, we have to hope for b6. I think b5 is a little more natural, but we have to put ourselves in positions where checkmate may follow. All right, let's set up the mate. Rook d7, and oops, my bishop. But we've got him covered here. Now he's going to get mated whether he likes it or not. A tremendous move by my opponent. Looking to have that square available, but guess what? I'm going to sit here, my friend, and I'm going to force you to take my bishop. Please take it. Good game, good game. I mean that. I think he really played a good opening. Gave us a new look at why things are not so easy to set up. Right? Bishop f5 and e6, and trust me, you want to avoid this. You do not want that structure. Okay, so another thing we learned is, hey, we don't mind this structure. That's definitely okay. Pawn comes to d3, guards e4. That's more than okay. Our knight gets in e5. Good stuff. But still, the way that he played definitely made things very, very comfortable for himself here. You know, and I still think White's doing fine here, but nothing crazy. Just a small advantage, 2 bishops. So, thought he really played well there. Hello, Neil. How are you, buddy, Neil? Mr. Valab. Woolly Ewok. What's up, Pence? Donkey as well. Soaring Llama. Thanks for the year with Prime. Matt Amoroso. Prime for 16 months. And Scotch Zero. 40 months with Prime. Yes, an early riser, Neil. Trying to seize the day, as they say. Seizing the day, one Stonewall win at a time. We're at 890, maybe a couple more games in order to enter the upper echelons of the 900 category. We start with d4. I'm going to go with e3 as a follow-up. And for the first time, we see a totally different look. If you bring your bishop out, you will find this move very annoying. So guess what? I have to play this move because I got to get my knight to f3. But I like it. We're seeing a different look here. Bishop to b7. Interesting stuff. Okay, bishop d3. Let's, again, stick with our system here. We got d5 played, which means I'm definitely interested in knight to d2. Trying to stop that. c3. We've got, even though it started a little bit interesting, we've now got exactly what we're looking for once again. Castle. And there is a little bit of a difference. And I'm going to point it out right now. When that bishop was on d7 before, I played knight e5, takes, and I mean, I've got this square covered. Great. If I play knight e5 now, it looks like takes, the knight can't go here, but the bishop's on b7. So you actually can. Right? The bishop is eyeballing that square. So knight e5, takes, knight e4 is not going to be as good for me as you might think. Because the bishop, pawn takes back, it's well defended on e4. Not really going to win it. So knight e5 here is actually not super intriguing for me. So the moves that I'm looking at are basically these three queen moves. I'm also considering e4, but I think it's better to support it with the queen. So either queen here or here with the idea of e4. And then my queen gets to e4. Nice position, knight e5 coming. This move also flexible for this. Or queen c2 to absolutely cover that square. And then play knight e5. The only thing that sucks about queen c2, it's all good, covers this, hits this pawn, great. But queen c2, after we go here, we'd love to have that queen over on that side of the board. That's the part that I don't really like. Is like, queen c2 feels great, does everything I want for the next couple moves, but then down the line, I want it on the other side of the board. So, it's like we can play knight e5 after queen c2, maybe g4, g5, but it does look a little short-term in nature. So I'm torn. I like queen c2. I think queen c2 will have the highest chance of working out right now, but I don't think it's the best way to play. I think objectively, I do like queen e1 better. Playing e4, playing knight e5, and going from there. But I think there's a few things to showcase. We've seen queen e1 a lot. Let's look at queen c2. It's probably the most queen-sidey move I will ever play in a Stonewall. Like, this is like as far as you'll see me go. Queen b3, it start to feel funny over there. Okay, knight there doesn't really threaten anything. So I'm gonna get my knight in. Remember, this is covered. That's why I played queen c2. Hey, at least we got some value out of that move. I mean, not the biggest value, but we won a pawn. It's exactly why we put that piece there. Didn't want to let it happen. All right, takes and takes this way. It's going to be just fine. Not concerned about that. Let's just develop. Now, I kind of played this on purpose because I knew I was ready to sack this pawn. Definitely not a decision you have to make here, but I think the pawn's kind of irrelevant because I have dreams of something a little bit different. I have attacking dreams. Queen here, bishop there, maybe a rook lift. I think good things can happen to white here. Now, bishop f6 takes king h8. We're not quite winning there. Not quite winning. Rook f3 definitely gives me good vibes because we know we want to double up. Plus rook g3 or rook h3 looks like very, very strong. So rook f3 I think is tremendous here. I think this is a good start. Knight here. It does kind of have a threat attached to it, so we can't totally discount that. That being said, I just don't see a way that this doesn't win. You know? Here, I'm like, okay. Takes, got it. And then takes king there, rook there, right? So I'm going to go ahead with bishop f6. Because I'm starting to threaten that. And I had a feeling he would be interested in that move. I definitely did. So now, I think we just go queen g4 and slowly bring the house down. As tempting as it is to play rook g3 there, knight takes e4 and knight takes f6 was possible. So this is a check. So I have to react to it. And now we have a mate threat. He's got to play this. And it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to go make another mate threat. And even though it's, you know, a very slow moving death, it's kind of unstoppable. I actually made a comment in a previous Stonewall stream that when you're trying to checkmate someone on this square and you have queen and bishop, if you have a bishop here and a queen here, I mean, that's okay. But having a bishop here and then your queen on this side, that's lethal. Like that is the best possible combo you can have. Of course, having either one is very, very good for white. But the bishop is just so much better here because it actually digs into your opponent's position on e7 and d8. And with the queen on h6, you have other ideas like mate on h8, sacking on h7, like so many other moves. So I think it's a nasty pattern to keep in mind here. GG. You wonder if it was also winning. Well, the thing is, in this position, if I play bishop f6, what I was looking at was bishop f6, maybe takes. And if I take, there's king h8. And the rook goes like that. What I wanted was I wanted rook f3 so that now, after this, if they took, that I could hit him with a pretty nasty checkmate combo. E takes f6 looks good, because if there, I have rook h3. And it's unstoppable mate, right? And if the rook slides this way, then I'm able to just give him checkmate like that. So no, I think I needed rook f3, the flexibility to go to g3 or h3. Yeah, rook f6 can be played. The funny thing about rook f6 though, is like, it's not a bad move. I like the idea, but it doesn't threaten anything. What's my next move? The bishop wants to go there. The rook's doing nothing here. I can double the rooks. I can triple. I'm still threatening nothing. So I really don't like rook f6. It's like a good move, but not even close to the best move. Knight there. Bishop f6. I think that's how we continue the attack. Knight d2. Queen g4. And we just sort of slowly work our way into the position. All right. Did we get a brilliancy that game? Yes or no? What do you guys think? Thank you very much to Coacher22 for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Coacher. Appreciate the morning energy from you, bud. Let's have a look. Toddy, thanks for the 10 months. 32 Cutard Street, thanks for the 10 months. With Prime Ubuntu, 51-month resub. What the fork with 3 months. We did get a brilliancy. All right, now that you know what the brilliancy, now that you know we got a brilliancy, what do you think the brilliant move is? That's what you have to answer. Because there were a few candidates, in my opinion. And Overwatch Ollie 123, thanks for the brand new Prime. Ollie. Bishop f6. All right. I will say you guys are probably right, and I'll go against the entire chat. And I'll say the brilliant move was Queen G4. I'm going to take on the entire chat here. But I think you guys are correct. I think it was bishop f6, honestly. But I have to go against the chat. I have to. Let's see. Okay, so we got our setup here. 95. Yeah, unfortunately gave up a piece there. Takes. All right. So, bishop e1. We're bringing the pieces around. Look at that. Bishop f6. I kind of knew that was coming. It's a beautiful looking move. But you know what's weird? It's not a sacrifice. Like, what the heck? But look at the difference in evaluation. Plus 14 versus plus 2. Like, I think there's a threshold. If a move is like so much better than the other moves, it's like, all right, we have to give this a brilliancy. It's the best move in the position, which I think we learned last time does not discount it from being a brilliancy. We learned that with rook takes f4. I'm not sure if there's actually a chess term that differentiates. I think there should be. I think there should be a chess term for, let's say, queen takes h7. That might be a sacrifice. But bishop f6, while you're still sacrificing the bishop, you're not taking anything. And in my opinion, those are different. Those are wildly different. And I think there needs to be like some sort of determining definition to separate them. Yeah, we might have to coin a new term. If this is a sacrifice, this is the Hambleton sacrifice. I'm going to coin a new chess term. If the sacrifice isn't taking anything, but you're just offering material, but not taking anything exactly on that move, it's a Hambleton sacrifice. Coining a new chess term as my own. There we go. I'm sure it's not a thing. Tobost says, it's called hanging a piece, man. No, it's called hanging a piece if you do it. It's called a Hambleton sacrifice from this day forward. When your buddies look at you playing your chess games, they're laughing at you. Oh, dude, you just hung a piece. Just reach for that glass of tea, extend your pinky, furrow your mustache, and say, Dear Governor, it is a mere Hambleton sacrifice. And you'll be just fine. No one will ever make fun of you again for hanging pieces. Just a Hambleton sacrifice. Now, if you go on to lose the game, you might have some explaining to do. But sacrifice, Hambleton sacrifice. There we go. We coined a new chess term today. Oh, and only one exclamation mark for that. There we go. There we go. All right, we're at 897 though. We can't leave things unfinished. Let's go for one more. All right, e4. Again, we'll wait and see if it's going to be an exchange. I think e5 is, above and beyond the main move that I see. Very difficult to set up the Stonewall against e4, so of course we're kind of doing makeshift, but if they take, then we get f5, and it does make some sense. Okay, let's set things up like that. Knight there. Let's bring the knight out. Bishop b2. We've played a game very similar to this. I'm wondering if we played this exact guy. Bishop here. G5 would lose, so I'll play queen c7. Wait a minute, we played this game before. I'm an expert here. I am literally an expert at this position. The best player. H3. Something tells me he is not sacking here. Something tells me he's going to be taking a step back. Yeah. All right, all right. All right. Not bad, not bad. Touché, my friend. What are we going to get up to here? Start by moving this. We can always go here. But hey, like I said, if you guys are brilliancy farming, the Stonewall is for you. You get some very fun attacks, and that's what it's all about in chess, isn't it? Brilliancy farming. Ain't no better feeling. B4, played by my opponent. A frisky move that needs a frisky response. A5. Always just kind of seeing what's up with this pawn. Like, do you want to take me? Do you want to play B5? We'll see. A3, okay. Sturdy move. I like the response. Nice to keep in mind that I can sort of force his queen to move over to that side. I'm looking at f4 and knight f5 as an idea. This knight especially, I think we might need a reroute kind of situation going on. Castling kingside is definitely where my king is going to end up, but I just want to be careful not to do it too early because maybe h4 comes. But for the moment, it looks like h4. I can play g4 and h5. So I am going to castle that side, but I'm going to force his queen to go way over to this side before I do it. So now I think this feels a little bit better. So now let's put this bishop in jail. Hey, I'm not saying my pieces look amazing, but let's lock that bishop out of things for the moment. Okay, don't mind this capture if it does happen. Even though I may end up taking back with the rook, I think I am going to play rook f7, bishop f8, or knight f8. Both look like kind of nice moves. And yeah, again, if bishop takes, I don't mind wasting the time taking back. My whole game plan is now against this bishop. That's it. e5 played. Well, I'm not going to lie. It got me interested here with the move c5. There might be some knight takes d5 shenanigans, but I have a feeling that we might be able to finish on top. Simply because I know that I'm playing a position where I'm up a piece. Like if any action happens in the middle of the board, I'm going to have 4 pieces that can respond, and my opponent only has 3. And that will never change. Not until somehow this guy gets excavated. King there, bishop there, knight move, f3. Like it's a long process. All right, let's force the exchange. Isn't he up a piece too? Well, his bishop's trapped. My bishop just hasn't developed yet. And we've talked about this in the Stonewall. This is often the last piece to move. Sometimes it goes the whole game without even moving at all. So Just give me some time, you know? It's not, let's not write it off just yet. All right. Takes, no good. Push, also no good, because it seems to free the pieces. So I'm going to move knight f8, hoping for some energy over here. Maybe a little knight g6 or something. Starting to get my bishop out as well. Let's take, keeping that bishop locked in for the moment. And yeah, bishop d7 also comes with a threat, which is nice. Which is indeed nice. Okay, so I like knight g6 and I like bishop there. Both moves look good. Knight g6 covers h4, which means now g4, there's no knight move, and the knight also guards this pawn. So g4 could be a big time play next. Let's go g4. I like this one. This queen can slide over, and I believe that's the next idea. Bishop h6, queen sliding over. Let's come to some sort of agreement here. If g3, we play f3, and that bishop is GG'd out of the game, right? Just gone. If f3, I think we play g3, and we should be winning a piece there. So everything seems to be falling into place here. Let's play bishop there. Thinking queen over to h7. Yeah, so this move will win material for me. And I think this little sneaky bishop move, I'm hoping eyeballing that knight is going to pay off for me. Because if the knight takes, then you can see I'm looking at this knight at the end. There's also bishop e3, right? And bishop e3 is like so, you know, I wish I could get my opponent to go there, right? Totally, because then I've got the pieces flying over. Bishop takes d2 is free material right now. But if I take the opportunity to play bishop e3 and he blocks, and then I take on d2, because I'm just like hoping that he'll play here, a little hope chess. Then he plays the move g4 afterwards. And I'm looking at my rook and this bishop behind it. And I'm like, man, that's just not worth it. You know, I don't want to deal with g4. So I am going to take first. Not going to play hope chess. And we're going to bring our queen, slide our queen over. Plus, okay, he played this move. So he's at least going to give us an opportunity to check. Remember, I'm up 2 pieces. So stuff like this, I mean, I am more than happy to take. Slide the queen over. Bishop d7. You know, maybe by move 30, maybe by move 40, I can finally develop that piece. We'll see. Queen h6. Maybe rook g5, but also queen e3 and rook h5 is another nice sequence there. I like that move. King f7. I think it's probably time to take it next. And then develop this bishop. You know, it's been forever. Bishop d7. It's just waiting, biding its time for the endgame. Takes. Takes. I'm going to do a funny move here because if he goes here, I played this move, and if he wants to win my knight, he's got to take with a queen. And that will actually simplify things perfectly for me. There we go. Now it's just a really, really easy position to pre-move. Don't really have anything to worry about. It just makes my life way, way easier. It went from like, oh, maybe we're getting low on time to, oh, I can pre-move literally every single move to the rest of the game. Good game. Very nice. Got a KO in there. I thought that was a nice game. I thought we've played some pretty nice games today. Brilliancies to boot. It's been, I think it's been a good little session. We got from 800 up to 900. Like I said, this isn't going to be the longest morning stream. I'm up. Don't worry. I'm officially awake. Saying hello to the Europeans, just dropping in. Might come back for a stream later today. So, planning one tonight as well. So I will jump off now. Just wanted to get a little early session in. Couple hours. Glad I missed that as well, Jumpy. Japan Knight, 19. Thanks for the 7 months. Jaybird, 1977. Thanks for the 23. Euphoria Knights, a brand new Prime sub. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to end for now, but I'll be back later today to do another stream a little bit later at night. And tomorrow's Title Tuesday. Got a very busy Tuesday. Same with Wednesday, Arena Kings, and usually keep the stream on all day. Again, if you haven't followed the channel, now's the time to do that. Click that heart button. Maybe some Chess TV viewers. Gotta pull you into the stream. You're not gonna miss our next time we go live if you are following the channel and if you're in our Discord. So I'm gonna end off for now, guys, but I'll be back later today. Don't worry, we're coming back, and it'll be busy stream week once again. Like I said, this is a good place to be following, good place to be subscribed to, because it streams on literally all the time. So it's a good place to be. Thanks for watching, guys. Just wanted to get 100 points here in our Stonewall series. We're up to 900. We'll continue this throughout the week. Bye for now. Everyone have a good month.